Welcome to a new deep dive. We're tackling a topic today that's just so fundamental, really, whether you're building a business, leading any kind of team, or, just try and make change happen, leadership.
Yeah, specifically, what is the actual difference between just being a boss and truly being a leader? And maybe more importantly, what are the practical things you need to do?
Exactly. What does it take to be effective?
And for this, we've looked at some really interesting insights from a YouTube video transcript. It's called Claves para ser un buen líder, prácticas de liderazgo.
Right, from the channel Conexión Interactiva. So our mission here is to really dig into the core ideas from this transcript, pull out the most useful bits for you.
Give you that shortcut maybe to understanding what makes a leader genuinely inspiring, effective.
Especially, I think, if you're navigating that, let's be honest, often tricky world of entrepreneurship.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So the transcript kicks things off by drawing this really fundamental distinction. It sets the stage, between just being a boss and embodying actual leadership.
Right, and it paints the boss picture quite specifically, doesn't it? Think of the boss as someone focused mainly on tasks, keeping productivity up.
Yeah, their main tools: control, supervision,
giving orders, and basically expecting people just to comply, no questions asked.
Exactly. And a really key point they make is that this type of boss, they don't usually delegate the big stuff, the significant responsibilities.
Keeps it close to the chest.
Yeah. And crucially, they're not really shown as someone who invests in their team's personal growth or, development.
Okay, so that's the boss. But then the leader, the transcript says they operate on a totally different plane.
Completely. It's not just managing tasks. It's about inspiring people, motivating them.
Creating a united team, right? People working together, not just because they have to, but with real passion for a common goal.
You can see how the characteristics start to stack up differently then. A leader inspires, motivates, and they delegate. That's huge.
And that delegation comes with trust, right? Trust in their collaborators.
Trust is massive, yeah. And it connects straight into another point. They actively promote growth. They want their team to develop personally and professionally.
So they invest in them. And plus, they're focused on building a positive vibe, a collaborative environment.
Absolutely. And kind of underpinning all of that, the leader is presented as visionary. They're not just putting out today's fires.
They're setting a clear direction, pointing towards the future for the business or whatever the team's working on.
Yeah, a compelling direction.
That distinction, when you lay it out like that, it just makes so much sense. It's like the difference between just commanding troops versus inspiring them to follow you because they actually believe in the cause.
It really is. And to hammer this home, the transcript uses some pretty great examples from fiction, characters a lot of us would recognize. Well, they bring in Frank Underwood from House of Cards.
Okay, yeah, definitely know him.
And Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones.
Ah, interesting contrast. So, Frank Underwood, how did they frame him?
He's presented as the textbook Machiavellian style.
Yeah.
His whole approach is manipulation, coercion.
Total control.
Absolute control, yeah. Making decisions alone, unilaterally. And his system rewards loyalty, simple obedience, basically.
And punishes disagreement, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Anything that looks like dissent gets punished.
And the source notes that, okay, maybe his fictional company prospers on some level.
Right, but it's explicitly at the cost of ethics, of integrity.
Which ultimately creates that distrust, that resentment you definitely see festering around him in the show.
Exactly. Now, flip that. Compare him to Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay.
Her approach, described as much more humanitarian, visionary.
Inspired by justice, compassion, those kinds of ideals.
Right. Trying to build something based on principles like equality, freedom, justice.
And she values diversity, empowers her team, her advisors, her armies.
Promotes collaboration, respect, encourages people to participate actively. It's almost like a distributed leadership thing going on within her ranks.
So under her style, the transcript suggests her communities actually flourish.
Yeah, driven by things like innovation, creativity, social responsibility. Because people feel empowered, they're working towards this shared positive vision.
Wow, that comparison is really stark. The transcript definitely seems to favor Daenerys' approach, doesn't it? Calling it the true visionary leader style.
It does.
Yeah.
It highlights that it's not just about getting results, but how you get them. The kind of legacy, the kind of environment you build.
Yeah, and it makes you think which style is actually sustainable in the long run.
Good question. Because, both characters gain power, but one builds on fear and control.
Which historically feels pretty fragile.
Right, while the other tries to build on shared values, empowerment.
Okay, so this idea of how you lead, it brings us to another really crucial point the transcript makes. Leadership isn't like a single thing. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all. Leadership styles vary a lot based on personality, experience, even the situation you're in.
And they can change over time too, right? You can evolve as a leader.
Definitely. The transcript actually mentions researchers like Daniel Goleman, John Maxwell. They have identified loads of styles, maybe even up to 11.
Wow, okay.
But for, practical purposes, especially the business world, it focuses on 5 common ones.
Okay, let's run through those 5. It gives a good spectrum, I think.
Sounds good. First up, the authoritarian style.
Right, this sounds like that classic boss we talked about earlier.
Pretty much. Leader sees the problem, figures out the solution, chooses one, and just tells everyone else what to do. Simple top-down.
Decisions flow one way. Got it. What's next?
Then you've got the political style. Now here, the leader still makes the decision alone, without consulting. A bit like the authoritarian.
Okay, so what's the difference?
The difference is, after the decision's made, they put effort into persuading the team, selling it to them, getting them on board.
Ah, okay, so there's an element of influence after the fact.
Then there's the evaluative style. This moves a bit more towards getting input. The leader identifies the problem, comes up with a possible solution.
A tentative one.
Yeah, tentative. And then, before making it final, they ask for opinions. They talk to the people who will actually have to implement it.
Yeah.
Testing the waters, sort of.
Okay, that makes sense. More collaborative.
Getting there, even more collaborative, is the participative leader. They bring the team in much earlier in the process.
How so?
They lay out the problem, share the relevant info, and genuinely give the team members a chance to influence the final decision. They actively ask for ideas.
So, real involvement there. And the last one?
The last one is the free initiative style. This leader basically steps back quite a bit, trusts the team almost completely.
So they participate just like anyone else?
Pretty much, yeah. Like just another group member in the discussion. And they agree up front to go with whatever decision the group makes collectively.
Wow. So their authority is only limited by, like, what their own bosses allow?
Exactly. Only by constraints coming from their superiors.
What's really interesting, and the transcript stresses this, is that none of these are labeled inherently good or bad.
Right. No. Single style is perfect for every situation. And it hammers home the point. Leadership isn't just about your title. It's not something you inherit with the corner office.
It's something you do, something you exercise.
Exactly. Through your actions, your interactions, the style you choose to adopt depending on the circumstances.
That's actually quite empowering. It means anyone, position or not, can choose to lead. So if it's about what you do, what are the key, like, actionable things the transcript says make a good leader?
Okay, yeah, the practical stuff. First and foremost, develop and clearly communicate a vision, a compelling one.
People need to know where they're going and why it matters. Clear and convincing. Got it.
And you absolutely cannot try to do it all yourself. That's a big one. You've got to delegate responsibilities.
And trust your team again, right? That word keeps coming up.
It does. Empowering others isn't just about getting stuff off your plate. It shows you believe in them.
Okay, what else?
Hand in hand with delegation and trust is actively promoting your team's development, personal and professional.
Investing in people. Training, growth opportunities.
Yeah, showing you value them, building up the whole team's capability.
Makes sense. And the environment matters too.
Hugely. The transcript emphasizes creating a positive, collaborative work environment, fostering trust, mutual respect, real teamwork.
Not just saying it, but actually building it.
Right. And maybe the most crucial one, lead by example.
Walk the talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be the person you want your team members to be. Show the values, honesty, integrity. That word integro they used. Show commitment.
These feel like the concrete steps anyone could start taking, regardless of their natural style, maybe. It's about being intentional.
That's it, exactly. It's about intentional behavior. And to bring these ideas to life even more, the transcript gives a couple more examples.
Oh, yeah.
One from the movies, one from the real world.
Okay.
They mention Maverick from Top Gun Maverick.
Ah, okay. Good example.
Yeah. Presented as this exceptional leader, inspiring just incredible dedication, passion, teamwork from his pilots on that impossible mission. It's not just his skill, but how he motivates others.
Gets them to achieve more than they thought they could. I see that. And the real world one.
Then they bring up Elon Musk, The transcript suggests he shares some of that persuasive, charismatic leadership.
Similar to Maverick, maybe.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But framed more through his focus on innovation, responsibility, sustainability,
Well,
highlighting him as an example of positive, transformative leadership, especially in tech and business, with that eye on broader societal and environmental impact.
right. So, okay, we've covered a lot. The boss versus leader distinction, the different styles, these key practices. If you pull it all together, what's the big picture the transcript leaves us with?
Well, the summary is pretty clear. Being a good boss, or really being a good leader, is just fundamental to success. In anything, really.
It's about creating that environment, isn't it? Where people don't just show up, but they feel valued, motivated.
And genuinely committed to the team's success.
Yeah. So the critical takeaway feels like leadership isn't just a job title you get. It's an active role you take on.
It's that ability to inspire, to motivate people towards something shared, helping them achieve great things together.
And the way to become that kind of leader involves consciously working on these skills, these qualities. Investing in yourself, definitely, but also really investing in the people around you.
Absolutely. And, thinking about all these different styles we talked about, from the authoritarian giving orders to the free initiative leader, trusting the group completely.
And those key practices like really delegating or genuinely fostering development.
It kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it, for you, the listener? Considering the specific situation you're in, maybe it's a small team, maybe a huge company, maybe just your own projects, what blend of these different approaches might actually be the most effective for you?
And maybe even more practically. How could you start developing just one of those crucial practices like communicating your vision a bit more clearly, or finding one meaningful responsibility to delegate and truly empower someone else with maybe starting as soon as today?